Welcome back to Block TV. This is Trader's Take, where we dive into the technical analysis of the crypto market to see where it's holding. And today we are joined by the fortune teller, the fortune maker, the man whose takes are just as hot as his cigars, Joe Saz. Joe, thanks for joining me, man.
Hey, how's it going, Yona? I'm happy to be here.
Well, you look like you're having a good time. Now, tell me, you're definitely looking, you're chilling pretty over there. Tell me how the markets are looking.
Yeah, well, I got my 7,300. I'm pretty happy about that. I think this is a good place to consolidate. If we can get, let me get rid of the MSR for a sec, just so we can have a better view here. If we can really consolidate here, this is going to be very strong to me. All right, so there's two things going on here, Yona. This is definitely not looking good. We have a lower low. We've broken a pretty long-standing trend line, and we spent a lot of time beneath it. So we definitely have a change in trend. Most likely this being the least accelerated trend, and most likely something probably in the middle here being our next area of resistance. But this is the thing. We're sitting in bearish territory here. And this is something that a lot of people, I think, are starting to get worried about, but I really don't think that there's need to be. As long as, so let's take a look at the daily so I can explain what I'm talking about. We've consolidated twice now. We've consolidated all up in here for weeks, right? Versus a massive run up where we spent no time at really any one point whatsoever, right? So we spent a lot of time here in this space in the 8,000 to what's the 8,800 to a low of 7,700 range. And now we spent, a little bit of space a bit lower, and capping out at the lows of the previous consolidation area. But as long as we're doing this, this is more structurally sound to me in creating what will eventually be a bull market than any of this other, moon boy FOMO bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I do. And so, where do you see, what's the next steps? I mean, listen, if just because it's matching the past, do you think that the future will hold true? Will history repeat itself?
So the next steps, I think an important next step for us is to consolidate here to show that 7,300 is strong. We have 65.57 in the books. We have a clear ascending line here, right? Ascending triangle. Not super clear. We do have a close below this. If we can manage to get above this trend line, and hopefully within the next couple days, even if we get a close below, I usually give Bitcoin three or so days to invalidate a trend. So if we close below here and we start going like this, I would say that's probably invalidated ascending triangle. But if we were to close right here, maybe you have a day right here and then pop right back in, I would say that this ascending triangle is not invalidated. So the important thing to me is that we consolidate, we build, and we show that 7,300 is a nice strong support, a higher low than 71 area. But nonetheless, I want to see bulls stepping up, and we've seen it happening a little bit. I should have Coinbase Pro up here. Oh, here it is. It's just going to take a second to load. I just want to take a look at the books so we can see what kind of action we're actually stacked up against. Wow, this is a real fight, as a trader and as an order book analyst and depth chart analyst. This is really important information to me. We have basically a 94 pack, 80 pack. Insulated by a 30 pack leading the books, and about the same on the buy side. So a 20 pack leading the books, 40 pack triple digit buy wall here. So we have a lot of support. This is a really critical area. This is one of those areas where I tend not to trade because there's no certain winner in the coming minutes or coming day or something. Like what I need to see is big packs of Bitcoin get bought or sold. I like to see 50 packs. I want to see this 90 pack get eaten, this 74 pack get eaten. Then bears will be on their heels. They'll be pulling orders. There will be no liquidity. Liquidity will look like this space here. And then we'll have quick runs into these bullish territories. But now you can see that since 75 has been broken down from, we have now some static sell walls in the triple digit Bitcoin amounts ready to cap us out there. So this might be a short-term trade where if the bulls win, we break through this. This is all dynamic support or resistance. We break through this, we hit this as resistance. Maybe we break it, maybe we don't. This is still my next target. And I believe with 7,300 being the current low, I would expect right now, for now, we just pulled back from like a nice consolidation range at 75, maybe a couple flashes and a couple wicks. as we can see right here, as high as 60, 76, 78, 76.50. So as long as we still have bulls willing to try, then the price is going to jump back up. And I think this transition might not be as painful as an extended bear market like we had in the early 2018 all the way through.
So right now, essentially, you're seeing this kind of tug of war at the line right now, the market where you're seeing these equal orders right there. You're not willing to touch it until you kind of see who the winner is. You're letting the bears and the bulls fight it out, and you're going to pick up the pickings.
Exactly. I mean, I don't even. The funny thing is, I don't even need to pick up the scrap metal on the field here. I just like to see a clear direction, and that's going to be visible in the order book. You're going to see when a buyer does take out a 50-pack and how sellers react to that. Do they add liquidity to the book? Are they there to fight? Or are they there to sell their Bitcoin? Or are they there to and crush the price? Or are they there to try to get the best buck for their Bitcoin? In which case, sellers would be more inclined to pull their order and let the price run up. Like right now, we just had about a 20-pack or so bought. I mean, that's showing a lot. And look what happened to the liquidity. Just as that happened, liquidity drops dramatically up in these aggregations. Very dynamic now. This 90-pack hasn't flinched, so we probably have at least a cluster of serious sellers here now, down to 60. So sellers are getting scared. This is perfect. This is prime territory. I'm actually in a long right now, and this is exactly what I want to see to confirm my long bias.
Mm-hmm. And how much of crypto trading? This is more of a stepping out a macro question. How much of crypto trading, if any, is algorithmic trading? Is not really a man sitting there, but but algorithms, which are very widespread in traditional markets.
Yeah, I would say that they're probably all over the place. I mean, it's like they are among us. I'm not 100% sure how much of this is algo trading, how much of this, I've seen bots in action. I've been in Zoom when my friends in trading team were showing their bots. I see how they work. I see how they function. I still think that it's doing it by hand is better in my opinion. I think that there might be a way to make a bot that's extremely profitable. But I've tested out a lot of these bots. I've never paid for a bot. I've tried to create my own and stuff like that through some programs. So I'm not the specialist when it comes to bots. I have seen some work. But it's like a really small P&L generator. You're really only going for 2 to 5, maybe 10% a day if you're lucky. I don't think you'll even get 10% a day. Basically, you're probably getting like 2% a day, which isn't bad. And not to mention, it could kill you. I don't know like what these bots have in the form of in the form of some sort of contingency plan if they break down. So I'm just not the professional there. But I do believe that a large majority of this is algo trading. Maybe not a large majority. A large portion of this is definitely algo. We can't dismiss that. But this is clearly support, and I don't care if it's algo or if it's human. We have support in the books. We have buyers buying. 7,300 appears to be pretty strong right now. We've been here for a number of hours, and I was hoping so much because I closed out my position yesterday at the bathhouse, and I was like. I was really hoping that I made the right call, closing at 73.23 is where I closed. And if I was able to, if we were to go lower, then I think it would have happened. Usually you don't consolidate in a range like this. And usually if there's going to be FOMO, it kind of picks up. But you can see the majority. Let's go right back quickly to a small time frame chart. And we could see the bulk of the selling happened at the end. The biggest volume candle for this particular run was at the end. The biggest volume candle for this particular run was right after a pump. So, I think like with stuff like this going on, that's telling me that bulls aren't just trying to shake out shorts. I feel like the nature of selling has shifted because sellers are particularly selling massive volume at the bottom. So to me, the nature of selling has changed from coordinated sell-offs to FOMO sell-offs. And to top that off, we have bulls that are willing to accumulate here. This is what I wanted to see at 4,000, at 3,800 back in earlier this year and late last year. I wanted to see these flashes. I wanted to see rejections, but I wanted to see us consolidating and building a psychological area where bulls refuse to let us break down and bears have no choice but to let us break out. And I think that could be the phase that we're in. I'm not like it's such a hard thing to be certain about, like to call the bottom or to say like 65.57 was the bottom. Probably going to be one of the hardest decisions that I have to make, but it's going to be that's going to be the decision. I mean, it's going to be ridiculous.
Joe, we both are very similar here. When I'm looking for support, I also seek out the human touch. Now, speaking of computers, let's switch over to the so-called world computer, Ethereum. How's that market looking?
Oh, cool. Yeah, let's take a quick look at ETH. Let me just pull it up here real quick. ETH BTC. I think I was pretty bearish the other day, if I'm not mistaken. I like to use Coinbase's numbers. I'm bearish to new lows, and I still feel like I have. There's nothing really impeding that. And when I say new lows, I mean new local lows. So basically anything below, I would say this body candle right here. Because once we get a close there, then this already starts to have a descending look to it. Now, if we fail to create, if we round out right here and we create a top, let's call this a descending triangle, right? Now, this is an accelerated trend within a descending triangle. Depending on where we round out, this will more likely break down in this, this small space of the triangle versus, the continuation of this trend, which draws out a bit further and have a little, bumpy road before a breakdown over here. So we do have an acceleration of trends, but we're not at the point where I could say that this is definitively a top yet. So a little bit more time will give me some insight where it doesn't seem like we're competing for a higher local high, which would be very important to me. So Ethereum's looking neutral unless we can happen to make a higher high.
Mm-hmm. And let's take a look at your favorite coin in the world. I don't even have to tell you what it is. Show us your favorite coin that we all know and love.
My favorite coin is definitely Bitcoin. This is on the record, Yona. My favorite coin is Bitcoin.
I know it is, but you know what I'm referring to. Show us XRP.
My favorite coin to look at, just to know how bad it's doing. This is let me see here. We have some horizontal resistance. This is short-lived. We only have 2 points of contact here, so I'm not sounding the death alarm here with XRP. Let's check out this channel down here. Really only one real solid point of contact here. I don't want to say we're channeling, because I think that when you're channeling in a very bearish territory like this, where we're floating in outer space right now, right? I mean, there's nothing for months since December 2017. There's nothing since then that we're literally just floating in outer space right now. So I would say for now, I would need to see if we're able to compete to get into this wick space again, how we react. I'm bearish into this wick space. I think we're headed down to the lower 20-cent range. We're already in the low 20-cent range. So let's say 21 to 20-cent range. But I think that if we can get a lower low, then this thing's going to start to cascade, and we're going to get a low with a wick like this, but lower into the teens. And once we're in the teens, I think XRP starts getting ugly. Obviously, they have a very fanatic support group, so I don't think that the masses will be selling. I wonder who it will be. I mean, I don't know if any of these contracts that they've signed on with banks and all that stuff, maybe the 1-year lockup period is coming to an end. Maybe not. Who knows what's going on there? But there's definitely a lot of intense selling. It hasn't lightened up, and I think that XRP is headed probably for 21 cents, 0.337 at the very least, and possibly in the lower 20-cent range to break this wick and create a 19-cent XRP.
Mm-hmm. And that thing, the part that you highlighted, is that referred to as the camel humps or the double middle finger?
I mean, some people call it, the double middle finger. Let's just go with that.
All right, it looks like XRP is giving 2 giant middle fingers to the world as its price seemingly out there floating in middle space with nowhere to go. Joe, thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate, you make yourself feel at home over there. You're looking like a boss on the screen, and you are spitting pure fire, both in terms of the smoke from the cigar and your hot takes on today's crypto news. And for all our viewers at home, make sure to check out BLOCKTV.com for all your latest in crypto blockchain. I'm Yona Hockhauser. Thanks for watching.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.